Once upon a time, in the heart of the American colonies, there existed a quaint Dutch settlement known as Sleepy Hollow, nestled amidst a dense, misty forest. The year was 1776, and the echoes of the Revolutionary War still resonated through the land. But it was a different kind of war that brewed within the shadowy woods, a war of folklore, legend, and chilling tales. In the moonlit village of Sleepy Hollow, nestled like a hidden gem within a secluded valley along the eastern shore of the Hudson River, a legend of such eerie potency held sway that it could send tremors through the bravest of hearts. The relentless and haunting legend of the Headless Horseman. This sinister saga found its origins in the turbulent aftermath of the American Revolutionary War, when the world teetered on a precarious precipice between light and shadow. At the center of this enigmatic saga stood a figure whose name had long since slipped through the cracks of history, a Hessian soldier who wandered into the annals of infamy. Cloaked in an aura of foreboding darkness, he loomed like a specter on the fringes of humanity. Whispers about him were as varied as the phases of the moon. Some claimed he was a ruthless demon in battle, while others murmured in hushed tones about sinister pacts he'd allegedly struck with the very essence of evil itself. The pivotal chapter of this chilling narrative unfurled on a fateful night, during a skirmish near Sleepy Hollow. Amidst the cacophony of cannon fire and the tumult of battle, an eerie and malevolent force seemed to guide a cannonball with eerie precision. In a ghastly explosion, the Hessian's head was violently severed from his body, an image so grotesque, so nightmarishly vivid, that it would linger in the collective psyche of the living for generations to come. Yet, death was but a trifling inconvenience for this relentless warrior. Rising from his unmarked grave with a thirst for vengeance that transcended the boundaries of mortality, he metamorphosed into the nightmarish Headless Horseman. The transformation was a grotesque spectacle to behold. Each night, as the moon hung low and the wind rustled through the gnarled branches of the trees, the Headless Horseman emerged from his desolate tomb. Perched atop a fiery steed, he clutched his severed head aloft, an eerie, luminescent skull. Its empty eye sockets blazed with a malevolent, otherworldly fire. His nightly odyssey was one of darkness and dread, an unrelenting quest to reclaim his stolen head, leaving in his wake a trail of chaos and despair. The villagers, once carefree in the gentle embrace of the twilight hours, soon learned to shun the roads at nightfall, for the Headless Horseman was said to target those who dared to venture into the murky abyss of the nocturnal world. Yet, amidst the shroud of fear and superstition, there emerged an audacious figure, a lanky, eccentric schoolteacher named Ichabod Crane. He scoffed at the eerie tales and superstitions, even declaring his intent to win the heart of the bewitching Katrina Van Tassel, the radiant daughter of a prosperous farmer. One brisk autumn evening, following a riotous harvest festival at the Van Tassel farm, Ichabod embarked on a journey homeward through the enigmatic cloak of the countryside. The night was shrouded in impenetrable darkness, and a biting chill hung heavy in the air, instilling a sense of unease in the hearts of those who dared to venture forth. As Ichabod approached the ancient bridge that spanned the creek near the graveyard, an eerie rhythm of hoofbeats reached his ears, a sinister cadence that quickened his heart. Turning to gaze upon a scene born of the darkest of nightmares, Ichabod beheld a monstrous figure astride a steed as black as the abyss itself. The rider was bereft of a head, his shoulders marked by a grotesque, luminescent pumpkin, a ghoulish replacement. Its eerie glow cast an otherworldly pallor upon the night, and a chilling panic surged through Ichabod's veins. He spurred his horse into a frenzied gallop, but the Headless Horseman pursued with relentless determination, a specter of death in relentless pursuit of a mortal soul. Ichabod beseeched his steed for greater speed, but it was a futile struggle. The horseman drew ever nearer, his fiery, nightmarish presence looming larger with each passing moment. As they reached the cursed bridge, its ancient timbers groaned and creaked with malevolence. At the very precipice of salvation, the nightmarish apparition struck. With a force both supernatural and relentless, the horseman hurled his infernal pumpkin head at Ichabod. The misshapen gourd collided with the hapless schoolteacher, and in a blinding explosion of otherworldly power, Ichabod Crane vanished into the abyss of the night, leaving behind only his trampled hat and a shattered pumpkin. When the sun ascended on the following morning, it bathed the village in a solemn silence, for Ichabod Crane remained conspicuously absent. Rumors swirled through the village like spectral phantoms. Some whispered of the schoolteacher's gruesome fate at the hands of the Headless Horseman, while others, their skepticism unyielding, chalked it up to a ruse or a prank gone horribly awry. But one undeniable truth lingered. Ichabod Crane had vanished. A wraith of Sleepy Hollow's past. And so, the legend of the Headless Horseman lived on in the shadowy enclave of Sleepy Hollow, a cautionary parable reminding all that the supernatural was no trifling matter. Travelers were sternly warned to shun the haunted bridge after nightfall, for among the villagers it was whispered that the horseman, relentless and vengeful, still galloped forth in search of his stolen head, his appetite for retribution as insatiable as ever. In the eerie depths of Sleepy Hollow, the legend thrived, captivating the hearts and minds of those who dared to glimpse the dark and enigmatic side of the supernatural realm. Generations passed, and the legend of the Headless Horseman continued to cast a shadow over Sleepy Hollow. The original witnesses had long since departed this world, but their descendants carried the chilling tales forward, each retelling adding its own layer of mystique and terror. In Sleepy Hollow, the memory of Ichabod Crane was preserved as both a cautionary tale and a source of endless fascination. Some believed he had met his demise at the spectral hands of the Headless Horseman, while others entertained the notion that the schoolteacher had devised an elaborate ruse to escape his debts and obligations. Whatever the truth, the village bore the scars of that fateful night, and the tale was now a cherished part of their heritage. As the years unfolded, Sleepy Hollow transformed from a remote hamlet into a thriving town. Yet, despite the modernization, the aura of mystery and trepidation surrounding the legend endured. A local historian, Bartholomew Van Winkle, dedicated his life to documenting the stories and sightings associated with the horseman. He amassed a trove of accounts, each more spine-chilling than the last. According to the accounts he collected, the Headless Horseman was not content with mere appearances during the Halloween season. There were sightings throughout the year, especially during the darkest hours of the night. He was no longer confined to the haunted bridge. He was said to roam the woods, the fields, and even the outskirts of the town. One chilling account told of a young couple lost in the woods one moonless night, who stumbled upon the restless spirit. Their tale, recounted in trembling voices, described a ghastly figure mounted on a horse ablaze with spectral flames. The horseman's piercing, hollow gaze seemed to bore into their very souls, and they fled in terror, vowing never to venture into the woods after dark again. The legend has not only persisted, but also thrived in the modern era. It has become a source of entertainment, drawing tourists, storytellers, and ghost hunters from around the world. It has inspired countless adaptations in literature, film, and television, ensuring that the Headless Horseman remains a prominent figure in the realm of popular culture. While we may never fully unravel the mysteries of Sleepy Hollow, one thing is certain: the Headless Horseman will continue to gallop through the corridors of our collective imagination, reminding us that the boundary between the living and the dead is not always as clear as it seems. Whether you approach it as a spine-tingling tale of terror or a cautionary parable, the legend of the Headless Horseman endures as a timeless and captivating enigma. Explore more fascinating stories with us. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and stay updated with our latest tales by hitting the bell button for spine-tingling notifications. Be part of the conversation, share your thoughts below, and stay curious.